You've heard me ask several times, what happens when you decide to stop being the strong one? It's not because you're giving up, but because you're finally ready to put some things down that you were never meant to carry. Now, in the last couple of videos, I touched on the origins of the strong Black woman narrative and what it has cost us emotionally, physically, and across generations. And if you haven't watched those yet, I would gently encourage you to go back and start there, because it's going to provide some much needed context. All right, so today we're talking about what comes next. All right, so ladies, there comes a moment when you begin to see the pattern unfold very clearly, very organically. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. You begin to notice where you're overextending, where you're doing all the people pleasing, where you're holding things in, where you are carrying more than your share. And y'all want to know the truth? Here's the truth. Many of us were never taught or given permission to be anything other than strong. It's written in our DNA. It's all we know. We weren't taught, nor were we expected to ask for help. We weren't taught, nor were we expected to ask for help. We weren't taught how to express our feelings. Hell, we didn't even have the vocabulary for that, right? And we definitely weren't taught how to rest without feeling guilty. Am I wrong? Tell me if I've said something wrong. So ladies, when we begin to shift, as I've said before, it can feel unfamiliar. It can feel uncomfortable. And it can feel a little scary because it's new, right? But I want to offer a different perspective. And y'all brace yourselves for this. I'm about to bust out the S word. Softness. I said it. Y'all, softness, it's not a weakness. Please, I want you to stop thinking of it as a weakness. Softness is not us giving up. I want you to think of softness as a return. I want you to think of it as a return to your body, to your emotions, to your truth. Nobody else's, your truth. And it doesn't have to be anything dramatic. You don't have to do a 180. Let me provide you with some examples of what softness can look like. Sometimes softness can look like something as simple as, I don't know, just asking for help, even when it feels uncomfortable. It looks like saying, I'm not okay, not today. It looks like allowing yourself to rest without feeling like You haven't earned it. Why do we always feel like we always have to earn everything? Where does that come from? Maybe that's another conversation for another time. And here's something else. I want y'all to start thinking of rest as resistance. You heard me. If any of this is resonating with you, I would love to hear from you. Let me know what y'all think. And if you are still rocking with me up to this point, y'all go ahead and leave a purple heart in the comments. Softness also looks like emotional honesty. We have to be honest with ourselves about how we're really feeling, about what's really going on, not just with the people in your life, but with yourself. I know that's a big one, right? I want you to start taking a moment to do what I call personal check-ins, where you just ask yourself, how am I feeling? What do I need right now? I know that feels weird, right? Because when you spent so much time taking care of everybody else, doing all the things, it can be so easy to lose yourself. And some of you, many of you have already lost yourselves. You know what I'm talking about, right? Let me give you a clue of what it could really look like. It can start with something as simple as or small as intentional pauses throughout the day, where you just maybe take a deep breath and maybe just take a look at yourself in the mirror and ask, am I okay? No. Am I really okay? Am I putting on a mask? Is this really how I'm feeling? I need y'all to hold space for yourselves, because we hold space for everybody else all day long. It's time for us to start holding space for us. Okay? And I think, if I'm being honest, one of the hardest parts of this process is releasing the guilt. Yes, I said it. The guilt of not showing up the way you always have, all the time, for everybody. The guilt of setting boundaries, and I know that's a big one for many of us, because boundaries, what are boundaries and why do we need boundaries? We don't do boundaries, but we need to start doing them. There's also the guilt of choosing yourself, because that feels wrong, right? But here's the thing, ladies. Choosing yourself, it's not a betrayal. You know what it is? It's an act of love. It's a necessary part of your healing. And this is where community comes in and where it's so important. Because we were never meant to do life alone. We just weren't. But somehow we got tricked and bamboozled into believing that we had to carry the burdens on our shoulders. And so creating and finding spaces where you can be supported, where you can be honest, just let your hair down, where you can be seen without the pressure of always having to be so dang strong. That matters. It really does. And maybe strength can start to take on a new identity. It doesn't have to look the way that it's always been, that it doesn't have to look the way that it's always been, right? Maybe strength looks like being honest, being supported, and being at peace. And ladies, as we shift towards laying down the cape, we can still honor the women who came before us and made all the sacrifices. Because of them, because of the sacrifices basically that they've made, it has allowed us to be where we are today with more opportunities, right? And if this conversation brought something up for you today, I have created a gentle, guided reflection called Softness Without Guilt to offer you some support. Take what you need, loves. You'll find it linked below. And if y'all got something out of this today, please go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and by all means share, because y'all know that sharing is caring. All right, that's it. As always, thank y'all for being here with me today. I really appreciate it. And I want you to continue leaning into